Where has that team been the last few months? Now, the quality wasn't quite there, but that at least, watching it, at least felt like a Liverpool performance. It felt like a Klopp Liverpool performance. And honestly, it feels so good to actually be able to say that. I had very little expectation coming into this game after just having some really rough results in the last few weeks and some terrible performance being put in. I just didn't know what to expect. But the core foundations of what you expect from this Liverpool team were there tonight against Everton. And that makes all the difference. We were hard to play against. We made it difficult for them from the first minute. We suffocated Everton for large portions of the game. The high press was back. The energy seemed back. And after so many games this season that have been like a coin flip, 50-50 in terms of expected goals, Liverpool finally put in a convincing, dominant XG victory. They had an expected goals, according to FBref, of 2.23, with Everton recording just 0.4. That is what we've come to expect from Liverpool over the years. It is a deserved victory. And boy, did it feel needed. So what changed? How is it possible that Liverpool can be so poor, especially on the road this season, and then turn in a strong performance like they did today? But I think there's three main keys behind Liverpool's improvement in today's game. The first key I felt that Liverpool had today, and it's a simple one, was that the commitment and focus were there from the first whistle. And these are fundamental parts of being a good team, but it's been sorely lacking in so many games this season. But you could tell it was there today. Everton just didn't have any time in the ball. Tackles were coming in. Players looked like they were really fighting for the cause. They were fighting for each other. They seemed to want it. And I haven't been able to say that about so many games from Liverpool this season. I think that reason, beyond all other, was the main driver for the improved performance today. The second reason that I think Liverpool improved was the midfield three. Henderson, Fabinho and Bajcetic played. Henderson, one of the better games I've seen from him in months. Overall, I would say Henderson's performance this season has been poor by his standards, particularly it dropped off even more so after the World Cup. But today he looked back to his old self. He was the first man to press constantly. Even at 32, he showed so much energy. But I felt like his pressing was more intelligent in this game than it had in other recent ones. He was actually influencing it physically. There's other games I've seen. There was games against Brighton where he was running around a lot, but he just wasn't doing anything. He wasn't getting involved in the play. Today, he seemed to be putting a foot in more, and his physical presence was much needed against an Everton side managed by Sean Dyche. We knew that they were going to be physical today. Having our captain put in a good performance was critical. Fabinho. Now, I don't think he played as well as Henderson. I don't think he's still reaching his levels of previous years. But considering how horrendous he's been this season, today was definitely a step up. He was pretty good today. Wasn't mistiming as many tackles, seemed to be involved in play more, wasn't getting dribbled around so easily. It was a solid performance from Fabinho without being spectacular. And finally, Bajcetic. I thought he was absolutely excellent. I mean, he's only 18 years old. So slight. But he's putting in these performances just beyond his years. I think Jamie Carragher actually gave him man of the match, and well deserved. It was possibly his first time playing as a left-hand side 8. He's been previously playing as a 6 for Liverpool. And he showed different facets to his game today. He showed a longer range of passing at times. He still showed that same calmness and composure on the ball. He's very good at receiving it in tight spaces, working a half yard, being able to switch play or play the ball forward. But he also showed some good progressive carry moments with the ball. He stretched his legs a bit more, was able to show some speed at times. And he still, importantly, critically, he still kept that combativeness, that tenacity in the centre of the park, winning the ball back, anticipating where it's going to go, making it difficult for the opposition. He adds physicality to a midfield, even though he's a very slight player. But I thought this combination of those three players in midfield offered us a much, much better balance than we've seen in recent weeks. And part of the reason for that is that Henderson is predominantly a selfless player. Bajcetic seems like a selfless player. Fabinho is obviously more defensively orientated. But having these players means that the fullbacks, for example, Robbo and Trent, can go forward and know that they have men there who are actually going to cover for them, who are going to fill gaps, who are going to be anticipating, thinking about, okay, who's out of position? Where do I need to be? And I think we've really, really lacked that in recent months. Harvey Elliott in midfield does not have that. Thiago, to an extent, he has it a little bit, but not to a very high level. Same with Keita. But it seemed like our fullbacks were more confident going forward, knowing they had these players there to support them and fill the spaces if needs be. And that leads into the third key reason I think Liverpool improved so much for this game, was their fullbacks. It felt like Robbo and Trent were let off the leash a little bit again today. They were trying to get forward. Trent in particular seemed so focused, so switched on. But he has to then keep that up. And his assist for Gakpo was top quality. And that leads us into the goals. Salah's first goal, we were a little bit fortunate with the corner. I mean, Everton did hit the post. Alisson was probably beaten from the header. But on the transition, we were excellent though. Núñez gets the ball on the left-hand side, shows great pace, great power, good vision, plays into the centre. To be fair, it was Pickford's mistake. He never should have come out so far. He tried to predict the ball going to Gakpo, it looked like, but Salah nipped in ahead, placed the ball well into an empty net. And Salah needed that goal. He really, really needed that goal. And we need Salah. We need him to start building up some sort of form, some sort of momentum. It is critical. I was delighted to see Gakpo get his first goal for Liverpool as well. Well deserved. Again, as I said, Trent played a brilliant ball in. A little bit of luck there as well because it took a slight deflection, and Cody probably shouldn't let the ball go. Didn't anticipate Gakpo to be there, but he was, and he finished it off. Klopp seems to have a preference for playing Gakpo in the centre and Núñez on the left, even though you think they were bought for the opposite positions. And I think it's because Gakpo, he's looking like a very intelligent player. He doesn't have that pure speed and pace to burn on the outside like Mane and historically what Liverpool do for their wide forwards. But he does have some Firmino-like qualities. He drops deep pretty well. He's able to link up play. He shows good build-up. A few times he spun his man extremely well. He looks comfortable at retaining the ball. I think he makes good decisions. And that footballing intelligence as well helps defensively. I think he triggers the press a lot. He's intelligent in his movements. And it's going to be very interesting to see, does Klopp actually want to keep Gakpo in the centre with Núñez on the left? Núñez seems like a number 9, but he just doesn't have that link-up ability to drop deep into this 10 space like Firmino used to do. Overall, though, it was a very, very encouraging performance because it looked like a real Liverpool performance. Again, wasn't vintage, quality could have been better, but at least the foundations, the fundamentals of what the characteristics of what we associate to a Klopp Liverpool team, they were there. We made it hard for the opposition, and now it's just essential to keep this going. It's well and good motivating yourself for a Merseyside derby, but when it's an early morning kickoff on a Sunday, we need that same will to win to move up this table. And speaking of the table, it's crazy how quickly your mentality can shift. Things felt like they couldn't get any lower last week. I was even listening to a podcast where they were talking about the potential of Liverpool getting relegated, saying that their form was relegation form. I mean, obviously that would have never happened. But when things are bad, they feel so bad. One good result here today it definitely changes the mood somewhat. I mean, it's only a small step, but it changes the mood. And now suddenly you look at the table, and we're 9 points behind Newcastle with a game in hand. And we play Newcastle this weekend. That means that if Liverpool beat Newcastle, now it's at St. James's Park, and Newcastle have been fantastic this season, particularly defensively. But if Liverpool beat Newcastle away from home and win their game in hand, they'll be 3 points behind Newcastle, who are currently in 4th place. So it just shows you, if this team can play anywhere near like they're capable of, they can still climb this table. But it's imperative to replicate that same commitment, that same focus, and that same attitude that they did today in the upcoming games. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Liverpool's performance today? Were you happy with it? And I will see you in the next video.